Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Cowboy Bebop. This is Haarute. My name is Matt. Hello, what's up everyone? So, Cowboy Bebop, what happened last time? We got a very meta episode last time. It was pretty fun. It was actually one of the most fun episodes of the entire show, I think. Like, I would actually put it up there with the mushroom episode. It was really good. It was really fun. This is a fucking space cowboy show, and this is the episode where they run into a real cowboy and then they just get to make fun of the whole thing. So it was very funny. I really enjoyed it. We are getting nearing the end of the show. We're watching episode 23 today. I am awaiting stuff to start happening soon. Maybe not this episode, but like maybe next week, or if not that, then 2 weeks from now. And hey, I got good news for you, because if you're watching this on YouTube, which you probably will be, you can already watch the next 2 episodes of the show. Yeah, that's just my sales pitch for Patreon. Go check out the Patreon support channel, and you can watch the next 2 episode reactions in early access. Otherwise, you'll just wait for a couple weeks, and you'll get there anyway. But regardless, we're getting ready to just watch this episode. I don't know if there's much I can say in this intro. I'm just gonna start. I just want to say that today is September 9th. And that album right there is my favorite The Smiths album. You know, it's my favorite. It's called The Queen Is Dead. It's a good album. I recommend everyone to go listen to the album The Queen Is Dead. It's a good album. It's good. I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna go. Cowboy Bebop episode 23. Let's go. Interesting. Oh shit. Is this a conspiracy episode?
What is a physical body?
Oh shit, I love this immediately.
It is a form of existence far too impure to store the gods within us cold souls.
Okay, you lost me. I feel like I'm watching
There's
a cult
no
video.
future. You must awaken. Awaken your soul.
Awaken, Mustak Rokish, the Great Lake True.
Cosmic Broadcasting Community. I hope this entire episode happens inside of like a TV.
Followers of Scratch use the brainwave control device on this new game console to scan their own brainwaves using a program created by their leader, Londes.
What the fuck?
Brainwaves into digital data and relayed onto the universal network where it takes on a transcendent level of being.
This is actually genuinely interesting from a sci-fi point.
Pure science fiction.
This is a science fiction show, therefore. Okay.
The reason you decided to sign up?
Okay, that's Faye.
I got tired of always being in debt. If I get rid of my body, I won't need money.
Ugh. We're back to a regular show.
This must be some kind of scam, right?
My spirit.
So was she brainwashed, or is she just infiltrating? I would assume that she's actually just infiltrating.
Catches your brainwaves and puts them into action, so you control the game the way you want it. Tangled cords.
Oh my
them
god.
away and dream with
Dangle cords. Never mind the fact that we can make wireless technology. No, fuck that. We're jumping straight into brain wiring.
There it is. Dr. Londes. He's wanted for first-degree murder. He was an R&D guy in neurobiology.
Okay, so
One day he
he's...
gets a call from God and starts a new research project. How to store the human spirit.
I actually really like this concept.
Suddenly shows back up and starts this migrate to electronics movement. Scratch.
I want to know more about this character. I want this to not just be a fucking whatever cult.
Essentially a weak stream of electronic pulses. So if you capture those pulses as data,
What the fuck are we doing?
straight to a new existence as a pure soul.
Spike, what the fuck?
You listening to me?
Well, okay, this is actually really cool because he's just eating it. This is super interesting.
Your soul from your body. And
Like, I wonder if he actually, like, put his brain in, like, the net or some shit. Like, but also what just happened is that Ed, milk cereal is probably, like, an Earth thing, and Spike doesn't know about it. So then he saw Ed do that shit, and he was like, oh, maybe that's good. And then he tried it, he was like, oh, fuck. But he fucking... Oh, that's good. That's funny. What the fuck is this place? Okay, so as soon as you step into that room, you get hit with something, I guess, and everyone in that room was the same. I want to know what the deal with this guy is, because this guy's very interesting. I want him to not just be like a whatever co-leader. I hope that he actually has like an interesting story to him.
Really want to meet Mr. Londes. Where is he?
I can tell you that.
Really?
He's up in heaven.
Maybe he is actually already dead.
Was there a fella going by that handle?
It's been 50 years, so... This guy is questioning whether or not he exists. Like... You okay, Ed?
That is why all of
Big shot! I do wonder if he, like, generally exists.
but try to track him down and it's like he does not exist.
He doesn't. But how is he a bounty then? Where did they get that picture?
Boy, I can't wait!
This here is the very last broadcast of Big Shot. We're canceling
What?
Shucks, Howdy. Happy trails.
Really? No!
Our ratings suck, so they're taking us off the air.
Oh, yeah!
No!
Agent will have something to say about this!
I love Big Shot! Fuck you! Man, I'm sad now.
Are you listening? I think I can really get rid of my debts now.
Okay, where was reference written from? Tomb Ray... Doom? That's just straight up Lara Croft right there. Okay, he bought the product, and now Edward's gonna plug into it, I guess.
Welcome to Scratch, the Migrate to Electronics movement.
This is really bad. So this is like VR chat, or... This is dangerous. Marshall Banana. I don't like this.
And what lies beyond? Heaven? Hell? Reincarnation? These are fantasies which cannot possibly exist.
Ein gets a bad vibe. Okay.
Awaken your spirit. Shed the filth of your physical body. Now.
I think Ein just saved his life.
It's all very fast. Within seconds, everything goes blank and you pass out.
Thank you, Ein.
There was something wrong in Fanging. If he hadn't done that, I'd
Be a member of Scratch right now.
Thank you, Ein.
Well, dogs have brain waves.
Oh, Ed wants to do it too.
Fucking what?
Select line 1.
I like how they just did everything super quickly. Illegal security gate.
Absolute perfection.
Edward didn't do this. Edward's not doing anything. Is Ein doing this? Fucking what? Fucking... Oh, this is cinematic. I like this shot.
Person known as Landis never existed.
Oh,
His
that's
past, all the records, they're all counterfeit.
Okay, sure. I believe it.
Papa.
Aw, that's adorable. That's fucking adorable. This is a bad place. This is a bad place, bro.
Her twin brother is here and she suffered so much.
Papa.
She's an unusual looking child.
My Papa.
Actually, it's a long, very dramatic story. It was such a shock to my daughter. She's been so traumatized. Just see her
He's
brother
crying.
once more.
Go on in.
Thanks so much.
I am not forcing anything on anyone. They are merely practicing a faith that they decided to believe in of their own free will. Why do you think people believe in God? Because they want to.
Okay.
It's not easy living in such an ugly, corrupt world. There is no certainty and nothing to hope for.
People need something to cling on.
God didn't create humans. No, it's humans who created God.
Yes, I agree with this. What are they gonna find though?
I'm sick of this little act of yours.
Hey, Edward,
Yeah?
can you disconnect the brainwave controller from the network?
Do you want to know the greatest and also the worst device that humans ever invented? It's television. Television controls people by bombarding them with information until they lose their sense of reality. Television has created a people who believe instantly in dramatic fantasies, who can be controlled by tiny dots of light.
So he created this fantasy himself. Shoot the television!
You're like a kid with a toy.
What?
Ooh.
You're the one that can't tell fantasy from reality. You're the one that lives in the little dots of light.
That's true.
If you want to dream, just do it by yourself.
What makes you think that you know anything about me?
You got him.
Stop it! Stop it! Don't kill him! Huh? What did I do?
What do? You kill people! Shut the fuck up.
Do I have to be like this? Everyone should have the same body as I have. I don't want to disappear. I don't want to.
Is he in some sort of coma? Like he'll never wake up?
Boy boy who became a so-called vegetable when he had a medical accident 2
I
years
see.
ago at age 13.
I see.
You're not a boy any longer. You are quite a con artist.
Oh, that's interesting.
I guess all he could do was dream, so the dreams turned dark.
That's cool. I like this.
And this time, I hope you have sweet dreams.
The souls that God has given us, our spirits which found a way to swim through the immense network and live in the infinity of space. Is not the human body a mere shell, a form of existence all too small and weak for consciousness with such vast reach and potential?
We don't even get a text. It's just, nope, the TV just turns off. That's good. I like that. Wow, this is the only episode that, I mean, at least so far, that doesn't have an ending text. All right, that was a very fun episode. I really like a lot of what he did. Kind of what themes he touched on, I suppose. I really like that. It's a lot of fun concepts, but I think the main direction where it went is whenever we finally meet. I forgot his name. I'm sorry, it's been a couple minutes. It's been like a couple hours because I went to get some food and order some groceries and stuff. So the thing is that Londa's here. First of all, is presented to be this doctor that had a history. But the more I thought about it and the show was saying, hey, nobody can find him, it really made me think that, like, hey, maybe he just doesn't exist. That's what it came to. I mean, he does exist, but the person that they're searching for doesn't. So Dr. Londa ends up being this fictional person created by this kid who is using this just a VR headset, let's just say, kind of like a VR headset, except that this one uses your brain inputs. Like, it straight up connects to your brain, which is... It's interesting because it is a technology that has been brought out before in other media, but it is kind of funny how in this world they essentially show you all these video game controllers and they go like, hey, aren't you tired of your wires getting tangled? And I'm like, bro, like, wireless is a thing, but it wasn't a thing in 1998. But like, the fact that they didn't envision the fact that that wireless could become a thing, you know, that Bluetooth could become a thing. Instead, they just straight up went for, fuck it, plug it into your brain. Like, that makes sense. I would want to see what, like, a fighting game would be like with brain connection, you know? Because, like, a lot of fighting games is down to, like, execution, right? But then there's also, like, reaction time. So I'm really wondering, if you remove execution from the equation and it's just reaction, that would be a completely different meta. Like, what the fuck would be fighting games with that? Sorry, I'm just thinking about dumb shit now. But, so, the theme that it ends up going to, I think that, and the part that actually interests me a lot is when Londas here says, I have it here, but it's something similar to the fact that television is a religion, and how television has... It gives you information and is able to essentially make people lose their sense of reality and, like, hypnotize them and make them do whatever. People are able to be fed a fantasy and be easily fooled. The thing is that that you can just replace the word television with internet and it works, right? And this is something I noticed about a couple shows from, like, I mean, I say a couple of shows. I'm reacting to Buffy right now as I'm doing Cowboy Bebop. I'm running Buffy simultaneously, which is a show from 1996. And I remember there was an episode that lightly touched on the idea of the internet. This episode is touching more on television than on the internet, but it still works because television at its core, it's not just a diversion, but it's also an information machine, right? You can spread information to other people, and in some way it's the proto version of the internet. The thing about the internet is that it is something that's more free, right? Television is something that like companies have access to, like some TV channels, and therefore you get fed whatever that TV channel wants to feed you, which is a bad thing. The internet was more free. However, the further the internet advanced into the modern era, the more it grew into becoming this algorithmic hellscape. And this is a very interesting topic because I feel like people back in the late 90s or early 2000s could slightly predict where we're going to be going, but not fully, at least not entirely, because of course, it's difficult to predict something that hasn't happened yet and won't happen for a couple decades. But the reality that we live nowadays is that the internet operates based entirely on algorithms, and they're really bad. Like, I talk about this, I think it was on the Buffy episode too, but this is just the way it is nowadays. And it's the fact that, hey, people just get fed shit that is not good because the algorithm doesn't have any morality and companies don't want to intervene into what makes them profits. Therefore, you get fed whatever the fuck someone has interest in feeding you in order to sell you something for whatever interest. And that's the same way television operates in some way, right? You get some right-wing channels, you get some left-wing channels, and it's not even about ideology. It's more about like what political party like gives them the money, the funding. Therefore, that's the TV you're gonna get. It's funny because Big Shot was also canceled this episode, just realized, because of low ratings. I mean, that makes sense. It's a show about, hey, here's the next bounty you guys can catch. It's like, how many people are bounty hunters in order to like get like good ratings? Like, I'm guessing there's not a lot. Also, like, wouldn't that be a job that like the police or the government has to put out? Like, it's not something that should be left to Big Shot to put out. But I'm sad because I fucking love Big Shot. I'm guessing I'm not gonna see those characters again, which I'm sad about. Like, I actually saw like fan art of the girl from Big Shot like a couple months ago now, and I retweeted it and I thought it was kind of cool. So that's just fun characters. I like it too. So I'm sad I'm not gonna see them again. I got really sidetracked. We live in a capitalistic algorithmic hellscape, and all of that feeds into this theme of, hey, you can trick people into buying whatever the fuck fantasy you want by exposing them to all this information. And now it's even worse than it was before. And it's funny that this episode touches on that a little bit in 1998, and it's just about TV. TV was really just kind of the start of it, really. I mean, nowadays TV is so... Nobody watches TV anymore, and it's because of this reason. It's because when you go to watch TV, it's just ads, and it's like any news like channel. All of them have some kind of like weird incentive in order to sell you a specific story, so you can't really trust anyone anymore. And it's just like, okay, then this is fucking bullshit. I don't give a shit about that anymore. But the same thing's happening to an ad, so fuck it. Like, every time this happens, I just think about Metal Gear Solid 2 because that has like the best version of it, really. Hideo Kojima's a fucking soothsayer. Anyway, grounding ourselves more a little bit, we go into the fact that we got this character, Rosny Rosny, fuck it. Rosny is a hacker that is 15 years old. He was 13 when he got into an accident and was left in a vegetative state. And now he's just in hospital, but he does have this Neuro VR headset, or it's not exactly that, but it's similar to that. And using that, because he was a hacker, I guess, he managed to just create a fake profile and fake videos and stuff to send online and just start a cult, really. It's really interesting that the more I think about it, Cowboy Bebop doesn't really do the internet as much as it does television, really. Because we see TV a lot in Cowboy Bebop, but we don't really see the internet, right? Like, Edward does hacking and Edward gets and finds records, but like we never really use the internet to do anything. Like, I feel like we don't. Like, I feel like it is a thing, but it's still very archaic. So I feel like Cowboy Bebop probably didn't like have the vision to imagine what the internet would become. So instead, they went harder into television, which is fine, really. You can play it safe. Televisions haven't disappeared. They're still around, so this works. But it's just interesting to me. It's interesting to me how people in the 90s saw, like, imagine what the future could become, because this is... This came out like 25 years ago, man. But ultimately, this character decides to create this online persona and start a cult and shit. And the thing is that it's difficult to say like exactly like, well, what is this kid's motivation, or where does it all come from? And we can say like something that kind of makes sense is the fact that this kid just doesn't have a body anymore, kind of. He lives in a vegetative state, which means that he's just a prisoner in his own body. He can move, he can do anything. So it makes sense for him to be plugged into the net, and he just creates a weird kind of movement where he says that, hey, your body is just a fucking piece of flesh container. You don't need it. You can just upload your memory into the machine, the cyberspace, and that'll be great. You'll live forever, kind of thing. And it's interesting because with the background that we have on him, it kind of makes sense, right? Because now we know that that's exactly what he's doing to himself. But it's sad because it's not something that he actively wanted to do. It's something that he has to do because he doesn't have any other options. So in a way, you can start to see this as a way for him to cope with his reality. He's like, well, this is all I have, and he's trying to cope with it. He's trying to say, well, this is fine, actually. This is fine. This is normal. In fact, I'm ahead of people, you know? Like, I see the future. This is the way things should be, and I'm going to try to convince everyone that this is the way things should be. Because that's also the thing, is that he's kind of, I guess it makes sense. He's trying to validate himself by getting other people to join the cult thing. That makes sense, because when Spike goes and encounters him, he says that he is merely he's not trying to trick people into getting into his cult. He's like, I'm giving people what they want when they come to me, which means that he's seeking people that actually see his vision. But the way I see this is that he's trying to validate his own existence, right? Because if he says, hey, everyone, actually having a body is kind of overrated. You can just be fine if you just upload your consciousness into the net. And then everyone is like, you know what? That actually sounds like a good idea. Then he's like, oh, okay. I'm not a weirdo, you know, that kind of thing. He's trying to validate himself. Like, that's the way I see it. That makes a lot of sense, actually, now that I think about it. There's a mosquito flying around. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's flown like right across me a couple of times, and I'm just like, I want to kill that bitch. This is, at the end of the day, a very interesting episode because of the concepts that it presents, right? And this is the kind of sci-fi shit that I like, you know? I really like this. Like, I said before that probably my favorite genre in media is probably sci-fi, but there's different types of sci-fi, you know? Like, something that I find really boring, something that I never want to watch, I call it like spaceship hallway sci-fi, you know, which is kind of when I think about like Star Wars or something like that, right? And that, I know I piss off a Star Wars fan, right? But like, I know it's not just that, but whenever I think of Star Wars, I think of something like that, right? I think about like people in spaceships, and there's just a lot of space, and there's a lot of spaceships, and the sets are hallways that are gray and futuristic looking, you know? That's boring to me, right? And you can get some futuristic concepts about like futuristic computers, or fuck it, a glow stick that is actually a sword and this fucking cuts anything. That's cool. But at the same time, I'm like, that's not enough to keep me interesting. You know what is enough to keep me interesting? Some dude who has lost control of his body uploaded his consciousness into the net and created a fake online persona and started a cult because he's trying to validate his formless existence as something that is actually normal. That's really cool, right? Like shit like time travel, transhumanism, all of these are all concepts that I'm super into, and these are all sci-fi concepts, and I love this shit. And this guy started getting into philosophy and shit, and at one point he was like, does God exist? And it's like, not really. Like God didn't create humans, human created God. And it's like this edgy shit that you spend when you're 15 years old, which is the exact same thing that this kid is, right? But it's also cool because he's not wrong, you know? He's talking about like how people make up gods and religions because they're trying to latch onto something. And thematically, the same goes to him. He's trying to latch onto something. He's trying to grasp onto something to validate his own existence because we all need something like that. That's good. Like, that's good shit. It's good how that thematically comes back to him, too. Did I Mr. Miyagi the mosquito? I did. I Mr. Miyagi the shit out of the mosquito. I completely forgot about what we were talking about. I don't know what else to say. Oh, one thing I should mention is the fact that Ein is a genius. So Ein took over the VR headset, whatever thing, and then Ein started doing everything. I mean, it is weird because like I can tell that that's what they were going for, but me being me, like I can tell that like how could you hack using the headset? Because well, I don't know how the way a headset works. Maybe the headset works like a computer too, but you would need the tools in order to hack it. So the headset would have to have some kind of dev tool thing integrated into it that you could use in order to track down everything. Like, it's crazy. Like, no, the headset wouldn't have to have that. So like I was thinking like that doesn't make any sense. The headset wouldn't have the tools in order for Ein to hack that hard. That's the reason why Edward is on the other PC. But no, Ein is able to completely nullify the laws of software and hardware development, and it's just like fuck it. Ein can just do everything. Ein just did everything and track everyone down. But that's good though. That was funny because it's funny the thing that Ein is actually a genius. Like Ein did everything when it comes to hacking, which means that Ein is able to. Ein has the intellect of like beyond human. Like what the fuck? And like I remember, like Ein is a data dog or whatever that was. Like Ein is actually like really, really clever or whatever. So sure, we kind of knew this already, but now we actually got to see it. Now this is the extent as to which Ein is insanely good. So that's really funny. It was really funny to see. So yeah, anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I don't know if there's anything else to say about it. I just really like a lot of themes that it had going on for it. And it was funny to see Jet log on to VR chat, the Cult Edition. So that was funny. Anyway, I'm just going to go now. Thank you so much for tuning into this reaction episode to Cowboy Bebop. See you next week. But if you would like to catch the next 2 episode reactions to Cowboy Bebop already, you can already do so over at the Patreon. Check out the link in the description below. Social media, Twitch stream. I started reacting to the story for Guilty Gear over there on my second channel where I put stream bots and stuff. And yeah, just fun stuff that I do. Check all that out. See you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.